Hi everyone, welcome to my channel. Before we begin this aviation-focused journey, I'd like to introduce myself. My name is Justin, a corporate worker with a deep passion for aviation. Beyond aircraft, I enjoy exploring different routes, documenting airports, and creating short layover diaries from my travels. I prefer to keep things simple, focusing on the experience of flying and the stories behind each journey. If these are kinds of videos you enjoy, feel free to subscribe and join me on future adventures. Thank you for watching and let's get started. It was supposed to be a normal day for me. Before going to bed last night, I had planned a simple day, enjoying some laksa and dumplings, watching the latest Minions movie, and treating myself to my favorite French toast and a cup of Cafe Americano. But now, I'm in a cab on my way to the airport. Today is no ordinary day because I'm celebrating my birthday. What started as a simple plan of dining out and watching a movie has turned into another journey. I'm now heading to Ninoy Aquino International Airport, Terminal 2 to catch a flight to somewhere in the Philippines. Today, I'm flying with Philippine Airlines. Having flown with them multiple times before, I knew that their check-in counters were usually located in the North Wing. However, this time, I felt like a first-time flyer at NAIA Terminal 2 because I didn't realize that the check-in counter for my destination was located in the South Wing. After making my way there and completing the usual check-in procedures, it's time to begin today's adventure. Come and join me as I celebrate my birthday in Dumaguete. Today, I'm flying on Philippine Airlines Flight TR2543 bound for Dumaguete. Scheduled to depart is at 1:40 p.m. and boarding will take place at Gate 6.
Good morning, good day everyone. I am here in NAIA Terminal 2 for my birthday trip. Di pa ako nakakarating sa pupuntahan ko, mukha na ako sunog. Ay,
Boarding has now begun. I initially thought that today's flight would be operated by one of the usual PAL Express Airbus A320s from the RPC 86XX or RPC 898X series. However, the universe had a pleasant surprise waiting for me. The aircraft assigned to today's flight is one of the Philippine Airlines newer Airbus A320 Sharklets registered as RPC 8933. This aircraft was previously operated by Vietjet Air and Thai Vietjet Air. It is currently 12.9 years old and joined PAL Express in December 2025. Let's take a quick look at the seat features. At each seat, you will find a standard tray table, the Mabuhay Miles magazine, a motion discomfort bag, and what appears to be the airline's updated passenger briefing card. Despite the aircraft's age, the cabin feels remarkably fresh. I'm not entirely sure whether Philippine Airlines refurbished the cabin before putting the aircraft into service, but the leather seats look and feel almost brand new. With all the passengers settled in, it's now time to push back from the gate and prepare for departure from Manila. Today, we'll be departing from runway 1331. Sit back, relax, and enjoy the takeoff roll. Though it rained earlier, the skies have cleared beautifully. It's not every day that I get fully appreciate the window view of Metro Manila during daylight hours. From my window seat, I was treated to a clear view of Ninoy Aquino International Airport as we climbed away from the city. As we continued our journey southbound, we were fortunate enough to pass the famous Taal volcano. Shortly after the seatbelt sign was switched off, the cabin crew began distributing the in-flight snacks. Even though I have flown with Philippine Airlines many times before, I found myself appreciating the little details more than the usual on this flight. Looking outside, I noticed an island below. I'm not entirely sure what island it is. So if you happen to know the location and what is happening there now, feel free to leave a comment below. As the flight continued, I couldn't help but admire the cabin once again. It felt like the skies were giving me a birthday gift. The views throughout the flight were absolutely stunning, and for some reason, everything just felt a little more special today. The flight from Manila to Dumaguete takes only around 1 hour and 5 minutes, and before long, we began our descent into Dumaguete Sibulan Airport. After making a turn, we were now established on final approach.
Mabuhay, we have just landed. Philippine Airlines welcomes you to Dumaguete. The local time for your convenience is 45 minutes past the hour of 2 in the afternoon, and the day today is the 4th of July 2026 on Saturday. Remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened until the seatbelt sign is switched off. For an orderly manner of disembarkation, passengers must remain seated and await instructions before deplaning. We shall commence passenger deplaning as soon as we receive clearance to do so. May we remind you to take precautions when opening the overhead stowage bins to retrieve your items, as these may have shifted during the flight. Passengers who need assistance, such as wheelchair, please deplane last. Our cabin crew and ground staff will be happy to assist you. On behalf of Captain Flores, assisted by First Officer Gamboa, alongside cabin crews Ali, Creme, Brian, and this is Don, your senior cabin crew, we thank you for flying with Philippine Airlines, the heart of the Filipino. Mabuhay at maraming salamat po. Welcome to Dumaguete. Good afternoon. We would like to remind everyone to remain seated with your seatbelt securely fastened while waiting for your row numbers to be called for deplaning. You may only stand up and retrieve your carry-on baggage.
Upon landing and exiting the arrival area, I hired a motorcycle taxi that took me to my hotel. For this trip, I stayed at MY Hotel, located near the downtown area of Dumaguete City. The room was neither too small nor too large for a solo traveler, but what stood out to me was how thoughtfully designed and functional the space was. After checking in and settling down, I headed to the Dumaguete Public Market to visit one of the city's most beloved breakfast and merienda spots, the famous Painitan. Since I hadn't eaten breakfast that morning, I decided to go all in and order a hearty meal. In front of me was a generous serving of their special rice cake topped with chocolate and peanut butter, accompanied by ham, eggs, and sausage. I also ordered a glass of their popular local drink called sari-sari. And of course, since it was my birthday, I couldn't live without having a serving of pancit. After finishing my meal, I took a leisurely walk towards the Dumaguete Boulevard. Known as one of the city's most iconic landmarks, the Boulevard is a favorite gathering place for both locals and visitors looking to enjoy the sea breeze and the view of the Bohol Sea. I found a nice spot to sit, slow down, and simply take in the surroundings. I did a little plane spotting as aircraft approached the nearby Dumaguete Sibulan Airport. But more than that, I spent the afternoon appreciating the view, watching the gentle waves, and enjoying the sunset. Sometimes the best birthday celebrations don't need elaborate plans. Sometimes all it takes is good food, a beautiful view, and the opportunity to be somewhere. And as the sun slowly disappeared beyond the horizon, I couldn't help but feel grateful for another year of adventures, both in the air or on the ground. The next morning, all the food I had enjoyed the day before, I decided to keep breakfast light. As I enjoyed my meal, I took a moment to appreciate the peaceful atmosphere and the views of the Dumaguete city once again. Before long, I was back on the road with Kuya Jingjing, heading towards Malatapay Port for a quick day trip to Apo Island. I booked this tour through Apo Island Adventure, and the experience felt quite special. So everything is special. 7 years ago, I had already been in contact with them and had plans to visit the island. Unfortunately, the trip never pushed through because I failed to wake up early enough for the tour. This time, however, things finally fell into place. From Malatapay Port, the boat ride to Apo Island takes approximately 30 to 45 minutes. The island is best known as one of the country's most famous habitats for green sea turtles and its thriving marine sanctuary. After arriving on the island, we attend a short orientation and pick up our snorkeling equipment. Not long after, we headed straight into the water. From the beauty of the skies above and the gentle breeze across the sea, I suddenly found myself entering an entirely different world beneath the surface. The underwater scenery welcomed me with a sense of wonder and amazement. What I found ironic was that while I always loved the skies and everything related to aviation, I felt just as calm beneath the sea as I do above the clouds. Whether in the air or underwater, both offered a chance to witness the beauty of God's creation from a different perspective. Seeing the sea turtles in their natural habitat became one of the most memorable part of the trip. Watching them move slowly and gracefully through the water reminded me of something important, that there is no need to rush, there is no competition, everyone moves at their own pace. In many ways, the turtles reminded me to slow down, trust the journey, and continue moving forward one step at a time.
So we are here in Apo Island and we are done with our snorkeling, swimming with the turtles. It was a very good experience. Yeah, that's it. Bye.
After our snorkeling session, the tour treated us to a delicious lunch. The meal included shrimp, pork loin, grilled fish, pancit, and rice. Back in Dumaguete City, I made my way to Silliman Beach, hoping to catch a few arriving and departing aircraft at nearby Dumaguete Sibulan Airport. Unfortunately, I missed the departure of Philippine Airlines flight. By the time I had my phone ready, the aircraft was already airborne. Fortunately, I had much better luck with the next movement. Not long after, I was rewarded with a perfect view of a Cebu Pacific aircraft on final approach as it descended gracefully towards the runway. As evening arrived, I decided to treat myself to a special birthday dinner at San Rival Bistro. The restaurant itself is housed in a charming old structure that reflects much of Dumaguete's history and character. The warm atmosphere immediately made the experience feel special again. I began the meal with pasta, but what truly captured my attention was the tomato herb soup. It was exceptionally good. Rich, comforting, and full of flavor, it was one of those dishes that exceeded expectations. Though I'm not a food critic, I always love eating. After finishing the first serving, I moved on to the main course. I thought the pasta was the main course, but not. A medium rare beef steak. After the dinner, I took a quiet walk to the Dumaguete Cathedral. There, I spent a few moments reflecting on the weekend and offering my gratitude to the Creator. I gave thanks for the opportunity to travel and experience places like these. I gave thanks for having the freedom to choose the path I want to take in life. And most importantly, I give thanks for the people around me who continue to support me in my journeys both in the air and on the ground. As I left the cathedral, I felt a deep sense of peace and appreciation. The next morning, I took one final look at MY Hotel before checking out. Before leaving, I wanted to show you the hotel's hallway and a few more details of the property that had been my home for the past few days or hours. For the last time during this trip, I met up with Kuya Jingjing, who once again gave me a ride on his motorcycle, this time back to Dumaguete Sibulan Airport. Belated birthday. For my flight back to Manila, I would once again be flying with Philippine Airlines. As I spent some time inside the terminal, I couldn't help but notice how much history Dumaguete Airport carries through its architecture, from the ceiling design to the overall structure of the terminal itself. It is one of those airports that manages to preserve its character despite the changes that have taken place over the years. I'll be discussing more about its history and features in our future episode of Philippine Airport series featuring this airport. Today's flight is Philippine Airlines Flight PR2548 bound for Manila. And once again, I was in for a pleasant surprise. Just like my inbound flight, today's service was operated by the very same aircraft, Airbus A320 Sharklet RPC-8933. Boarding in Dumaguete Airport was conducted via the apron, giving passengers a chance to enjoy a short walk to the aircraft. Since my seat was located near the rear of the cabin, I boarded through the aft stairs. After settling into my seat and completing the usual pre-departure procedure, it was time for our journey back to Manila. Shortly after takeoff, the aircraft made a sharp turn towards the north. Looking out of the window, it almost felt as the aircraft was waving goodbye to the city of gentle people below. Dumaguete has a unique charm that is difficult to put into words. It is a city that encourages you to slow down, appreciate simple moments, and enjoy life at a gentler pace. As this birthday adventure comes to an end, I would like to thank you for joining me on this journey. From an unexpected flight and memorable meals to beautiful sunsets, sea turtles, and meaningful moments of reflection, Dumaguete gave me a birthday that I will never forget. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you again on my next journey, wherever my next destination may be. Until then, safe travels and see you in the next video.